I am seeing more contempt towards capitalism everywhere I look, and it makes me really happy. It makes me genuinely happy that we get angry over this increasingly outrageous transfer of wealth from everyone to the rich. At least the transfer seemed subtle back in the day. I don't care if you are right or left, like or don't like politics, where you are from, what economic class you belong to, etc. I am just happy people are waking up from the bread and circus tactics. I feared we would go out not with a bang but a whimper. But it seems there is hope for the bang after all. Capitalism is a failed system. It has failed to raise living standards. It has failed to improve working conditions. It is the biggest obstacle in tackling the climate crisis. Capitalism had failed an entire generation of people to the extent that they can't afford to live. They can't afford to perform the consumption required to keep capitalism running. They can't afford to raise the next generation. What should replace capitalism? We cannot just apply a band-aid as we did during the Great Depression. In the Great Depression, capitalism collapsed. And the people asked, why does this type of recession and depression only happen under capitalism? Why did it not happen under feudal monarchy? Why did it not happen in the socialist countries at the time? There was real moment to move away from capitalism. And the New Deal was a response to this. The New Deal did not exist to fix the problems of capitalism but to preserve them. The New Deal reset late capitalism to a more comfortable earlier stage of late capitalism. The New Deal was only possible because of militant labor action. It introduced, among other things, an old age pension. Didn't exist before. A minimum wage. One where a single income could comfortably support a spouse and multiple children. Improved labor rights and banning child labor. Reducing the working week to 40 hours. But the New Deal didn't change the power balance. The factory owners still owned the factories and the workers still worked there. To be fired on a whim. The people with power kept all their power and the people without power got no extra power. But they were temporarily more comfortable. It has taken almost a century, but all of this work has been clawed back. Old people are returning to work, as are children. The minimum wage is a joke. The gig economy has destroyed any work stability or maximum working hours. We need a new system. A system where no one person owns an entire corporation acting unilaterally with the power of the most ruthless dictator. Instead, we need more democracy. Not just in politics but in the economy. We need a system where the corporations are owned and democratically run by the people who work there and their community. A system where housing is owned by the people who live in them and their community and exist for their community, not just greedy landlords. We need a system where the workers and their community can democratically decide to forego extra profits if, for example, these profits come from the pollution of the environment. A system where Elon Musk can't just buy Twitter and fire half the staff. A system where BlackRock Investments can't just buy your house and jack up the rent. A system where some profit-seeking capitalist can't just fire all the workers, close down a factory, and relocate to a cheaper country. Don't do like we did in the past and settle for breadcrumbs. A better system is possible. I think that at this moment, there aren't the prerequisites for a change, being it sudden or slow. Right-wing anti-capitalism has arguably worse than regular capitalism. The right resorts to fascism as a solution to the ills of capitalism, and fascism maintains the underlying structures of capitalism, with bigotry sprinkled on top. We haven't had a true capitalist system in this country since the Federal Reserve Central Bank was created, or when the Fed began controlling interest rates. Not sure if they were doing that right when it came into existence or if that happened later. In capitalism, markets determine the price of things. One market matters above all markets because it impacts all of the other markets. The money market. The price of money is the interest rate. Another way of saying it is the cost of borrowing money is the interest rate. If you have a central planning committee, I intentionally phrase it this way to make it sound like a Soviet institution, aka the central bank, aka the Federal Reserve that determines interest rates, then you don't have capitalism anymore. Therefore, it's incorrect to blame the economic woes on capitalism. We don't have capitalism anymore. We haven't had capitalism in our lifetime. Our economic system is some awful hybrid of capitalism and communism. I'm so tired of hearing people blame the economic problems in this country on capitalism. This is a failure to diagnose the problem correctly. We don't have capitalism anymore. I only feel like we've been at this point many times before. Like 100 years ago there was already people talking about late-stage capitalism. But C is still very much alive. I like that people are paying attention, but let's not ignore the possible consequences. We need to be sure to avoid an escalating cycle that leads to fascism, feudalism, and even more inequality. I know lots of you will shout street me and say that's where we are already going. But actually capitalism, when deployed with equitable rules, has helped democratize the economy and lifted people out of poverty. No, you exemplify living in an echo chamber. You do not associate with people with whom you disagree, and you equate volume with quality. Noise does not mean wide support. It means a noisy minority getting nowhere, so getting louder. The only people who aspire to be working class are those incapable of doing anything else. The other get out of it, leaving the losers behind to claim it was their dream to be proud of being working class. The only problem is the loudest criticisms are from countries outside the US. Capitalism could work, but it would involve reforms so that the person who does the work gets the capital and it doesn't end up in the hands of middlemen, managers and landlords. No, capitalism does work and did work for about 30 years. We had explosive growth and advancement until around President Reagan's time, when laws were put in place that moved it from capitalism to a form of feudalism. Capitalism doesn't allow for the hoarding of wealth we are seeing today. It helps when you only look on Reddit.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Ericast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.